Okay, so let's start this interview. Alex, yesterday we had dinner together as well with another student, Richinel, and we were talking about, how to start with dropshipping and all those kind of things. As this was like 1 year ago, it was, I think, since you started, right?
Yeah, a year ago I started. I remember I was like working a supermarket job in overtime at that point. And I, for the longest time, I was just trying it by myself, like testing things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. As a beginner, you're always hit with so much information.
Yeah, overload. Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started, right? Like a year ago, trying to figure out myself, spent tons of money, just like throwing money on Facebook ads. Didn't know what I was doing at the end of the day. And I think at that point, I kind of came to you. I think that's when I saw your profile or something.
Yeah, it also reminds me of myself, when I started, because, as well,
Yeah.
the first 8 months, I was just burning money and, the job that I had, the same for you, I guess, was just what kept us going.
Yeah.
And that was basically the thing that we needed in order to move forward. So, that was also, that reminds me of myself as well a lot. But let's say, what did you do, for example, different than, what you're doing right now?
Bro, it's totally different. I mean, as a beginner, you're coming into this world with literally no idea where to go, and you don't even have a step-by-step process of what to do. Step-by-step, what to do, right? Where to go, who to ask questions. That was kind of me in the beginning, right? And I was the one, and I know a lot of people, who start with e-commerce, they go on YouTube videos, they try to find, those 1 to 2 hour, maybe 3 hour long videos of people, showing a free dropshipping course, but that doesn't work at all. Right?
No. I think as well, when you see those things on YouTube, all the things that are free, 9 out of the 10 times, it's, you just want to share something with you, but not providing all the value that you need in order to move forward, just to get you started.
Exactly.
So, that was also, you see a lot of gurus doing it the way, what they think, what I think right now is not the way to go. As you know as well, we are not focusing, for example, on those markets, right?
Absolutely not. And that was kind of the biggest thing I noticed as well. It's like, as a beginner, you're running ads in only what you see people say online, which is top 5. US, Canada, all these countries. And it's not only is it completely saturated, it's extremely expensive to run ads.
For beginners?
So this is what all the beginners, from what I see, people are doing right now.
Yeah.
And I think what kind of made me realize your way was a bit different was because you were targeting countries like super specific European countries, Scandinavian countries as well. And I remember I asked you like why you were doing it.
Remember? Yeah.
And I was like, why the hell is this guy doing this? It's so different. Everyone else is saying one thing, you're going the other way. And then, as I was kind of testing, you were obviously told me kind of what to do, where to look at. I realized it came down to kind of the CPMs.
Yeah, right? For sure. Look, as well, the CPMs are, for example, in the US, you pay like 50 to 100 euros to
which
show,
is crazy.
Yeah, to show 1,000 customers like your ad.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the Scandinavian markets or the other country, we were focusing on this more like you pay maybe 10 or 15. You can, let's say, target 5, 6, 7 times more people with the same amount of money.
Yeah.
The entry barrier is just so high, man, for people. And they don't understand. Or people as well, the gurus. They tell like 9 out of 10 times they say, okay, just start in US, do this and that, but or they don't know about it, or they just don't want to share it with people because they're all like forwarding their people to like those markets. But it's so hard for people to start there.
Yeah, I mean the barriers to entry to, for example, the US or Canada are super high.
Yeah.
So as a beginner coming into something like this, you're immediately hit with obstacles one after the other. And at the same time, if you're not getting the right guidance, you obviously don't know where to go, right? So that was kind of the biggest thing I noticed.
Yeah, and besides the market itself, you also need to know, okay, for example, what kind of product research method you need to use, what kind of fit, because those are also essential in order to start with. Was that also an important piece to you when you started, or what was, let's say, the main thing?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was still, and this is again going back to what all the online people are saying, they're using an almost outdated strategy for using and finding products, right? People are still recommending AliExpress, which is a bit crazy. Right? With 40-day shipping times, it's ridiculous. And so I kind of fell into that trap as well, where I was like kind of doing what everyone else is doing, finding products that way, but also I didn't know what winning products were. And I think when I sat down with you, you told me as well, you were like, there's very, very specific things and triggers to look for when finding winning products.
Yeah. But at the end, as you know as well, it's if you know it, it is so simple, man.
Yeah.
Really, you only need to know what to do, and then if you know what to do, then you know. I think the sky is the limit, man. Really.
I think that's the biggest thing that people don't really understand getting into, especially beginner, right? Because you're hit with so much information.
Yeah.
You don't know where to go, and you automatically assume that because of the information, because of the amount of things that you have to do is hard, which is not the case. Because you just need a good strategy, and it's as simplistic as possible, and that's how you can get results.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I always say, you know, as well, that fancy fills, simple skills.
Yeah.
You know, that's also why we are using the strategy that we are using is also based on that specifically. And if you know what we do, then you will think of as well, like, okay, is it that easy? Because people think dropshipping is hard, but if you do it the right way with the right guidance, as you said, you know, then it can be like, also for you, I think, you know, it will be game changing when you start, and you will see like from a complete different perspective from there on.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and then Facebook, of course, as well. You know, you need to target those countries which we are targeting, and if you do that in combination with the other things, it's of course way easier.
It's all about data.
Yeah, for sure.
Building up enough data.
Yeah.
And I think building up data in Scandinavia, especially when running ads, is so much more beneficial in the long run than in the US.
Yeah. What would you say? Because I thought you did around last June. You did around 165,000 in rev with your store.
Yeah.
And that was only in like 5 months or something. What would be your goal for 2023? What would you want to achieve? Do you have a goal?
Yeah. Well, we're trying to hit the 200 to 300K mark relatively quickly. I think we're on the way to do that. And that's going to be in MRR, so we're trying to hit that in recurring revenue monthly. And from that point, we're trying to hit the million.
But the best thing, I think, you know, when you build a team, that you also know, you know, you can also buy time from there on, and you can even skill more.
Yeah, this is the biggest thing that I've saved on. Because in the beginning, right, I think you saw as well, like I was running my store, everything I was doing myself. You remember?
Yeah.
Like everything I was doing myself.
Yeah.
And then I think at one point you told me as well, because you had the same obstacle. You came to me and you're like, Alex, we're just going to have to outsource like 70% of what you're doing because it's an inefficient task, right, that you're working on. That's kind of when I outsourced pretty much everything. But not only is it pretty much fully automated, it's only like 1 to 2 hours a day where I actually have to check. With the media buyer, the VA, it's pretty good.
But I think that's the thing, right? Because people, they always think, you know, they need to do it themselves, they can do it like the best. But it's all, if you know also the 80-20 rule, is like 80% of the task will like result in 20% of the outcome, while only 20% of the most vital task will give you 80% of the outcomes.
Exactly.
And you know, that's like the key. If you want to grow to like the 6-figure mark, you need to have an 8-player team in place in order to scale. And you know that as well, because you cannot do it yourself. You cannot buy time.
No.
Therefore, you need to have, let's say, you need to delegate, and therefore you can, you know, become profitable.
Exactly.
Amazing, man. I'm looking forward to see you crushing it.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much.
Awesome, man. Perfect.